Before we start, let me share with you my matcha journey. It started over 10 years ago. So before you start whisking or grabbing that chassis and becoming a matcha barista full-time, these are the things that I wish someone has told me, and also learn the art of matcha. Save yourself some surprises and bookmark this video clip. Are you ready to fall in love with the art of matcha? First thing, it is not just green tea. Green tea is special because it has a lot of antioxidants, but when you talk matcha, it's a lot more than just green tea. You have to start knowing different grades of matcha, the origin. I'm talking about culinary, premium, ceremonial grade, all of these that you need to know. So a lot more than just regular green tea. On top of the grades of matcha, you also have to know cultivars. Cultivars are just really the species or the blend. So it depends on the origin. So you have the highest grade, which will be the Asahi, and then you have the Komidori, Semidori. Different cultivars, different origin, each one has a different story to tell. Precision matters. Matcha is not as simple as steeping your tea in hot water. It is a lot more than that. You're talking about the grade of the matcha, the temperature of the water that you use. You talk about the speed of whisking, a lot of different factors that make a great brew. Further on, patience with a whisk. A lot of whisking matcha is going to, of course, tire your arm, but maybe it will improve your biceps. Now, making that microfoam, whenever you look at YouTube videos and you see people whisking their matcha and then it comes up or it ends up with a foamy top or frothy top, that's not a good sign. This takes practice, speed, and also just using your wrist. This is where it's important. You have to use the wrist, not your arm. But for some people, it's also important to use the arm. So you either whisk with your arm or you just whisk with your wrist. Either way, as long as you get that microfoam on top, gives you that smooth texture of the matcha, and also the look is just phenomenal. Now, all of these I have covered in many other video tutorials that I have on this channel. So really, how does whisking speed affect the quality of your brew? It really is important that you get that microfoam on top. So you start slow and then you go fast and you get that perfect brew of matcha, cappuccino-like. On to number 4, matcha dust gets everywhere. So if you have a shop like mine, my uniform is black in color, and everybody knows the color of matcha is green. And the better quality, the better grade, gives you a stronger or deeper shade of green. So it could get on your shirt, and it's also possible that you get it all over your workspace. So it's very important that you keep your workspace clean. Make sure that you don't have all those dust or matcha dust all over the place, and also probably helps if you have an apron. Otherwise, you'll be serving your customers with green all over your black shirt. Keeping your station clear is going to be second nature. Next, don't be surprised if you end up becoming a matcha teacher. Everyone is curious about matcha. They will be asking you a lot of things. They'll be asking you, where is your matcha from? What is the difference between a Komidori and Semidori? What is the difference between a matcha from Miyame, which is the south of Japan, to Kyoto, which is the capital of matcha? They will ask you the caffeine content, they will ask you for the benefits. There will be a lot of things that people will be curious about. So it's going to be a daily educational process. You are going to be a matcha teacher. Quality makes the cup. Because there are many different grades of matcha, from culinary, definite no-no for drinks. Never use culinary grade matcha in serving your drinks. If you are going to price point your matcha at the low level, even using culinary matcha is not recommended. You can get different grades of matcha. Ceremonial grade matcha also comes in many different grades. You can go to the lowest level as long as you get a taste which is not that of rotten fish at the end. That is a definite no-no. And there are so many matcha varieties that are ending with that absolutely rotten taste. Make sure that you select the right matcha. Never compromise on quality. And every time you serve your matcha, make sure that you try and ensure that the quality is there, that the taste that you're looking for is there. Customers are looking for something like, I'd like a nutty taste, I'd like a more umami taste, I'd like a grassy taste. So all of this will depend on the quality and the grade of your matcha. For example, if you are serving lattes, you can make variation to your latte. You can offer with oat milk, soy milk, almond milk. You can also offer in a different presentation. You can add mango, you can add yuzu, you can add sparkling matcha drinks, and also make sure that you have some flavors of the month. These are ones that people will be looking for. So for example, if you've been open for a year and you keep serving the same thing, people will say, yeah, they actually look for the same thing over and over again. But if you have something new, that just adds excitement to your coffee, to your shelf, and also to your menu. Sustainability builds trust. I covered this in my previous video. People would like to know where you obtain your matcha, where you source your matcha. To be honest, I've been to Japan a few times to matcha farms, and I can honestly say that they use ethical farming. The process is such that you can serve your matcha with a very good conscience. Always share your story, where you get your matcha, what they do to make it special. For example, I'll give you one amazing story, is that if you get your matcha from Kyoto, they only harvest once a year. And that means they only get the first harvest, unlike if you get it from, say, Yame, or you get it from Shizuoka, where they harvest 3 times a year. The best harvest is from the spring harvest, which is about May. After that will give you the green color, the freshest variety of matcha. Now, as you go to, say, summer, the color deteriorates, and harvesting in autumn, the color is definitely not so good anymore. So that becomes more like the culinary grade matcha. But some shops still offer those grades of matcha. The taste is just not good enough. One of the challenges of opening a matcha bar these days is that the supply is quite low. It's very hard to source great matcha these days. So this is something that you wish someone told you before you start your matcha bar. There's a lot of matcha bars that are now struggling to keep up with the demand because the supply is very limited. Last year, for example, I sourced my matcha and it takes about 2 to 3 weeks for the production. This year, just last month, I placed a large order, and now the lead time is 5 weeks to about 6 weeks. So make sure that you plan that. Next thing that you should know is that you are upholding a tradition. Matcha tea ceremony in Japan is almost, I would say, sacred. For me, it's very relaxing. It's almost like meditational. I enjoy the process of making my matcha. In the morning when I wake up and I grab my bowl, my chasen, and make sure that I've got the water temperature right, scooping up my matcha into my bowl. All of these is a ceremonial process, a ritual. And this is an age-old tradition. If you have a chance, go to Japan and watch the whole ceremony, the ceremonial process. If you don't have a chance to go to Japan, you can always come to Bangkok and join my workshops, and I'll teach you the way of tea, the art of making matcha tea. Finally, last but definitely not the least, is that you will find out that matcha brings people together. Loyalists, matcha lovers, will find you. So if you have a matcha bar and you are a matcha barista, somehow you will become the center of wherever you are located. People are always looking out for good matcha. So there might be 1 or 2 already in your area, but do not be deterred by that. People will find you. People will say, is there a new matcha shop somewhere here? And I just love that matcha barista, so friendly. I just love how they make their matcha there. I just love the taste of their matcha. So many different reasons that will make people find you, and that will grow your community of matcha loyalists, and then you are just going to have it made as a matcha barista. If you have any questions at all, do let me know in the comment below. As always, I would like to say that we do conduct workshops in Bangkok, and whenever you get a chance, come over to Bangkok. And if you are looking for a good supply of matcha from reputable sources, look no further. You can also come through us because we have already searched high and low for good quality matcha, and we are willing to share those with you. Until next time, thank you for watching. Ciao for now.